We are bathing in sunshine at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Indianapolis and the 49ers coming up. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms. You got the reunion. You got Harbaugh and Luck, but you also have Luck and Kaepernick. A couple of dynamic throwers today to watch.
Well, I'll tell you what else we got. We got a very good team in the San Francisco 49ers, emotional because of the way they lost in Seattle. And Indianapolis knows any chance to win this game today, you got to go out there and out-hit the 49ers.
Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. So the 49ers have decided to defer and will send it down to Cassius Vaughn, the Colts returner. As Phil Dawson gets set to get the game started. Both teams at 1-1 on the year. Both teams in the playoffs a year ago with the Niners, the NFC champions. And it's Vaughn taking a knee. We'll bring out Andrew Luck and his return here to the Bay Area. School just down the road at Palo Alto with Stanford. His line, this is going to be something to monitor today. It's all makeshift. Thornton at left guard. That's in place of Donald Thomas out for the year. Sautelli is out at center today, out with an elbow, so McGlynn moves in there. And Linkenbach moves to right guard. And there's a Mod Bradshaw getting the start. Of course, the big talk, Trent Richardson picked up in a trade from Cleveland on Wednesday. And there is Richardson, who we will be seeing in action today. Play action, and then the throw to Bradshaw, who is absolutely smashed by Dante Whitner after a pickup of 3 and a flag.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, illegal contact with the crown of the helmet by the defender, number 31. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
First play of the game, Whitner is flagged for it.
Out in the flat, a receiver there, crowned the helmet, takes it. Oh, he didn't even hit him with the crown of the helmet, but it did look like it when you see it live. I thought he did. Didn't use the top of his helmet, so, Jim, it goes so fast, sometimes you're going to miss those contact fouls.
It sure looked vicious live, and I'm sure that influenced the flag. That's Terry McCauley and crew on hand here. On first down from the 38, and tight coverage will draw another flag. Trying to find T.Y. Hilton, and it was Brown on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense number 25, automatic first down.
What a way to start. Back-to-back 15-yard penalties against the San Francisco defense. The Niners, through 2 weeks, the most penalized team in the league. And here is this 49er defense. Justin Smith, such a presence on that defensive front. And I know a lot of you are wondering, we'll get into this later. Aldon Smith was out for the first snap. He's out there after being arrested Friday for a DUI, his second in the last 2 years. And Eric Reed is the safety, the rookie first rounder out of LSU, who has a pick in each of his first 2 games.
Round 7, right.
Great drop back. And Luck brings it, got his man. And that's Hayward Bay returning to the Bay Area. The former Raider for the first 4 years of his career picks up 14. Well, Andrew Luck, who graduated down at Stanford with his degree in architectural design. He trained here this summer, came back to Stanford and worked out, and excited about coming back and facing the coach who recruited him out of Stratford High School in Houston to come up to Stanford, where the two of them teamed together for 2 years and won 20 games. Going to empty out the backfield inside now of the 49er 40, and that's Bradshaw with a second catch. This one good for 6. The two of them together, they did good things, including a 12-win season in 2010 and an Orange Bowl victory.
Well, the good thing, we got a good story. Jim Harbaugh talking about recruiting Andrew Luck. That was interesting. He picked out 6 quarterbacks across the country. I knew every one of them's name because they all became successful college quarterbacks, some of them in the pros. But I would say he picked the right guy for the job in Stanford, and it worked great like that graphic showed.
They have not run the football yet. They have a 2nd and 4, and now they will. Bradshaw zigging and zagging and pick up the first down. Ahmad Bradshaw for 8.
Well, the one reason why they haven't run the football so far, Jim, is because they know the 49ers are expecting that. So let's come out, loosen them up, get this crowd out of the game. And that time they spread everybody out. And Ahmad Bradshaw, what did Chuck Pagano say last night? He runs angry. And what he means by that, he's willing to hit people, get extra yards, runs with that chip on his shoulder. It works well.
Another first down at the SF 25. And again, Luck will go spread. Good protection, good pass, and it's Hayward Bay down inside the 10 in his 2nd catch on this opening series as the Colts continue to march down the field. Another 19 right there.
Well, it's been tough for Hayward Bay. You think about his career, how it started so slow in Oakland, but every year out there you could see he was getting better, getting more receiving skills, and we're watching it here. Again, the Colts last night said a lot of nice words about Hayward Bay. That speed, fixing those receiving skills, it's working well with this offense.
Kaepernick saying, hey, give me a chance. And by the way, look who comes in for the first time in a Colt uniform wearing number 34, not the 33 he had in Cleveland. Here's Trent Richardson, 1st and goal. Pass caught. It's Kobe Fleener, Luck's old college roommate at Stanford, picks up 6 and gets it near the goal line.
Well, I would have been very surprised if they would have handed the football on the first play to Trent Richardson. The 49er defense had to see he's in. Here comes the guy we heard about all week long. I actually thought it has to be a play-action pass, but plenty of time for Andrew Luck so far here at the start of the game.
Is it possible Richardson's first carry as a Colt would land him in the end zone?
He's a pretty good jumper.
On 2nd and goal, they give it to Richardson, and he in fact is in, standing up for the touchdown.
What a drive.
Welcome to the Colts.
Well, yes, welcome to the Colts. And the Colts just announced to the 49ers, we're pretty tough ourselves. And as you were given these starting lineups, you talk about their offensive line. It's like we almost felt sorry for them against this great defense. But what a job, an offensive line coming together, the injuries, and what a push inside to make it easy for Trent Richardson.
Now Vinatieri makes it 7-0. Andrew Luck 5 for 5 on that opening drive, and for the first time ever, he hands it off to Richardson, and those two, boy, what a future. It works out for the touchdown. 80 yards in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. The Colts on the road for the first time after a couple of home games. And they come right out of the box and take it right down the field for the score. McAfee kicks off. And that's Kendall Hunter coming out with it. And not a wise decision as the Colts collapse on them at the 13. So we'll see Kaepernick and the 49ers coming off a dreadful performance up at Seattle last week, ready to rebound today.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The redesigned Honda Odyssey. Honda, start something special. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
We're back for the 49ers first snap, coming off a 3-point performance, 210 total yards. That's it last week at Seattle. And Frank Gore, they want to get him going today. He's only averaging a couple of yards a carry through 2 weeks. Picks up 7 that time. Kaepernick, that was his worst game, one last Sunday night in Seattle, of his young career. This is his 13th NFL head start, including the postseason. His line dedicated today to getting Gore in gear, including Staley, a Pro Bowler on that left side. Gore coming in, 30 carries, 60 yards. That's it for the all-time rusher in 49er history. They are without Vernon Davis. That's the big note, too. Out with a hamstring today. He tried to loosen up and was hoping to go, but he can't. And Kaepernick wide at the mark, looking for Kyle Williams. Now, Indianapolis has a couple of key players out today with injury. Up front, though, they do have Ricky Jean-Francois, the former 49er. Anger is out, but Mathis, the 11-year veteran, continues to play great football. 3 sacks the first 2 weeks. And there's Vontae Davis in the secondary. Was hoping to be matched up for the first time in his career today against his brother Vernon. But again, Vernon, the tight end of the 49ers, out with a hamstring. 3rd and 3. And that's Hunter fighting for the first, but he's going to be stopped about a yard shy. Freeman and others.
You said it. They fooled the defense. They got it. But what happens so much in this league now, didn't get the quick hold of the football, but the safeties, did you see how fast Howell came up that time? That made him reroute what he was doing, and that allowed the linebackers to come in and make the tackle. Safeties in the NFL, so important, stopping outside runs.
Yeah, that was Delano Howell, you were talking about, number 26, who starts today. And Lee had pressure, but sent it down to Hilton. Fair catch at the 31. 47-yard punt. So Luck out for the second series after being perfect on the first. 5 for 5. That ended up with a Richardson touchdown run. This is the farewell season at historic Candlestick, which opened in 1960 with then Vice President Nixon throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. The Beatles played their last scheduled paid concert in 1966, and of course the earthquake just a half an hour before the first pitch of Game 3 back in 1989. The Niners, 43 seasons, the 3rd longest uninterrupted stint by any team in the league right now, behind Green Bay and San Diego.
It's awesome.
Jim Harbaugh completed his first ever NFL pass here as a member of the Bears, in fact, in 1987. A little dump-off pass to Neil Anderson.
I completed some passes here, and I threw a lot of interceptions, too.
I was going to say, to which team?
Yeah, that's right. Pretty evident the Colts, they've come to fight. Let's find out the 49ers are ready.
Boy, did he zip that one in there. We've got an update now on the Bills and Jets, and JB has the honors.
Jim, Jets opening drive.
Yeah, Geno Smith, 4 or 5 yards, 72 yards, and caps it off with this 8-yard quarterback draw, and the Jets open up a 7-0 lead.
That came on a 2nd and goal. Back to Jim Nantz. Phil Simms.
All right, guys, keep us posted on that one. You talked about the Indianapolis fast start when we met with Coach Chuck Pagano last night. That's all he talked about. We're going to be on the road for the first time this year. We got to start hot. And that they have. 2nd and 2. Fake to Richardson. Luck has all kinds of time. And that's incomplete. Going to the newly acquired running back, who was the 3rd pick in the draft a year ago, was Richardson by Cleveland. And Luck, of course, the 1st. How about that? You come out of that draft now from the spring of 2012 with the 1st and 3rd overall picks of the draft. Of course, Richardson traded by Cleveland, and Indianapolis sending a their first round pick next year to the Browns.
Makes sense for the Colts. They want to be a power running team. Trent Richardson absolutely is a power running back.
3rd and 2. To Hilton, and he saw the defender closing in on him first, though. It was Brooks who forced Luck to get rid of it quickly.
Well, they're not going to just sit back and watch Andrew Luck pick them apart, so they come with pressure. The play action does not fool the defense, and it doesn't matter anyway. There was great coverage all over the field.
Asamoah was there. Had Hilton caught it, and would have been able to stop him right away and short of the first anyway. So out comes McAfee to punt. That bounce is inside the 10. In fact, it's a sideways bounce. And it's covered up by Harvey of the Colts after a 52-yard punt. Kaepernick and the 49ers will get a second try at it in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Request when and where your packages are delivered with FedEx Delivery Manager. And by Viagra.
Aerial coverage of today's game provided by MetLife. Looking down on Candlestick, named after the Candlestick bird, an indigenous wading bird that was common in the San Francisco Bay back before the 1950s. And they complete this one to Bolden, and he's got the first down. He had a monster game, did the former Raven, week 1 here against Green Bay with 13 catches, but just 1 last week.
Well, they had a hard time. When you look at this receiving core, Jim, you know, the 49ers, they need an outside receiver to really step up and start catching passes like Kyle Williams or Quentin Patton, somebody, so it takes the pressure off of Anquan Bolden. And last week, of course, he went against one of the best corners, if not the best corner in professional football.
First down throw, ball tipped. Tipped right at the line of scrimmage. Bolden, though such a big part of Baltimore's walk through the playoffs, had a touchdown, in fact, against the Colts in the wild card game, had a touchdown against the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
I think when you look at Anquan Bolden in this offense, what Colin Kaepernick has got to learn to do, they've done some of it, but you've got to trust him and know when he's covered, you still got to give him a chance to catch the football. We saw that with the Ravens many times in that playoff run last year.
2nd and 10. Kaepernick looking for a second option. Got open room. You don't have to ask him twice. He'll take off with it. And he's the only quarterback through 2 weeks who led his team in rushing. He's got 14 on that scamper.
You've got to be disciplined up front. Watch the pass rush this time for the Indianapolis Colts. Look at that running lane. It's just too big. The coverage down the field is magnificent. But seen it many times how they can... Colin Kaepernick can take advantage of these open running lanes, and Robert Mathis, the wide turn, opened up that hole.
It's Gore. Good blocking in front. Gore coming back into the field to play, and the play ends it at the 41. He had Alex Boone out there in front of him, as well as Bruce Miller, and Gore with his longest run of the season for 22.
Yeah, this offensive line, they got to be angry after last week, the way they played, and you said it right, Boone, Miller out in front. And I think the Colts know. The one thing the Colts said about this game today, if Frank Gore, if he runs the ball well, we are in a lot of trouble. Of course, the 49ers want to get him going.
Easy. Sunday.
Gore again. The cutback move worked out as he weaves through traffic for another 10 and a first. And again, Bruce Miller helped free him. Let's give him 11.
Yeah, Bruce Miller, a really versatile fullback, can block. What dexterity that time, gets in there and helps Frank Gore pick up that extra 10 yards. But you see this so often with running backs now. You got to be able to plant your feet and jump sideways to find that next running lane. And Frank Gore has done it for many years. Even at the University of Miami, he was making these kind of moves.
Comes out for this snap, almost as many yards rushing in this first quarter as he had the first 8 quarters of the season. Kaepernick again looking for other options. Getting chased, and now we'll take it out of bounds. Muala was chasing him.
It's just, you know, Jim, you say he was chasing Muala, but just watch the coverage here. They're going to just run this, and Colin Kaepernick has nobody there to pressure him. Look down the field, nobody there. Finally, he moves, and still, even in the second move, the wide receivers can't get open.
Well, there are 2 starting wideouts not in on this snap. Bolden and Williams. They've got the likes of Quentin Patton, the rookie from Louisiana Tech. But they're going to go ground. With Gore coming right back in. And a block in front. And Gore again with a huge run. Running behind Upati and Vance McDonald for 21. He set his season long on the 20-yarder earlier this series. Now gets it another notch with 21.
Look at the 2 pullers out in front. Upati seals it to the outside. That was awesome. And then you see the quarterback, the tight end, McDonald, getting the block to springing for the extra yards.
Great job by McDonald. He took out a couple of Colts down there.
And Mike Upati sealed the edge. Very embarrassed about the way he played in Seattle. I didn't think it was that bad. You know he's a little fired up today.
First and goal, and cutting back. It's Hunter, and able to keep his balance. But still not able to get back to the line of scrimmage. He was met by Corey Redding right away. and a loss of 3.
Corey Redding was a linebacker at the University of Texas, kept getting bigger and bigger. Now he's a defensive tackle in the NFL. Good job by him stopping the run and letting the rest of the guys get there to make the tackle. Well, that's an excellent, you're a linebacker at the University of Texas, you get bigger. That means you're going to be a very athletic defensive lineman, and that's Corey Redding.
2nd and goal at the 13. Here's a delay give. It's Hunter to the end zone. Touchdown, San Francisco. Boy, has that offensive line responded. Huge holes on this drive, and that one from 13 out, and again, Upati was one of those who gave him a clear lane.
Not surprised at all. Goodwin gets down the field, gets it done, but really nice play action or a play fake by Colin Kaepernick. Really takes his time. Look at the offensive linemen. They all win their battles, and they made it easy for the touchdown run.
Boy, they really did. Boone and Davis, Upati, all the Niners up front. Give them the credit for that drive. They wanted to establish the running attack today. Boy, have they done that here in the first quarter. 91-yard drive with 78 of the 91 yards on the ground.
No surprise. Everybody expected it. The fact that they haven't run the football well the first 2 weeks.
Pass is long and deep, sails over his head. Fantasy football fans, there's still time to get in the game. Play with the best this season. New games are available to join today. Sign up now, cbssports.com/football. Different approaches here.
Well, so far, somewhere along the line, it's a tough defense to think you're going to run against him, but somewhere along the line, I expect to see some unbalanced offensive line. Right now, they got an extra lineman in there. The Colts do.
Again, Richardson's the back. And he's stuck at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
But we got what we thought that time, Jim.
Justin Smith comes out with the football. Flags are out. 49ers making an appeal.
There's no foul for unsportsmanlike conduct. 2nd down.
Well, they take the right tackle and they put him over to the left side. Here he is. Here's the left tackle, and then they bring an extra offensive lineman in the time. It's rights. So they think they want to make sure. Why do you go unbalanced in the NFL? To make sure the defense can line up properly, because you don't see it that often. So when you don't see it, you make mistakes. That time, of course, the 49ers didn't make a mistake.
2nd and 10. And that ball in the air for a while, incomplete. Well, Trent Richardson, yeah, the big topic of conversation this week, how he got traded on Wednesday after being the 3rd pick by the Browns in 2012. 11 rush touchdowns last season. It was interesting. All the experts, Cleveland's given up on the season. What a terrible message to send to their fan base. They go out today and win at Minnesota.
Tell you, Trent Richardson did a good job picking up Patrick Willis on that blitz.
3rd and 10. Is sacked. It was Aldon Smith who got to him first for a loss of 7. He tripped him, and Luck tried to regain his balance, but they crashed in on him again.
Yeah, they did. They just pushed the pocket back that time. It was hard for him to hold him out.
Well, he was down off the contact by Smith. And that puts McAfee punting from the goal line. His first punt was a beauty. This is a good one, too. But it's Kyle Williams. Takes the seam up to the 50. 51-yard punt, 14-yard run back. We're talking about Richardson and this strange odyssey since going to practice at Cleveland on Wednesday and then making his way home after he left the facility, told by a friend that he'd been traded. That night he caught a flight to Indianapolis, got to his hotel room about 2 in the morning, took the team physical at 7, and by 8 he was in meetings, and a few hours after that he was working on blitz packages to protect Luck.
I think that's it. He said to us last night, he goes, what did I do wrong? Why was I traded? Well, it just made sense for both teams to do it.
Let's do it for a quick 5. You know, the 49ers offensively last year, Crabtree and Manningham both on PUP and expected back later in the year. Randy Moss no longer with the team, and Vernon Davis is out today. So you get Bolden in a trade in the offseason as they go board. But when you talk about how many receivers are back from a year ago or catches by players in a 49er uniform a year ago, it would only be 14 returning catches by players who were with the 49ers last year. That's the fewest in the league returning, with Atlanta the most. And all of those catches, by the way, belong to Kyle Williams. As you see Crabtree, they're hoping by November he could be back. Manningham perhaps coming up in mid-October. 3rd and 4.
Defensive line must stay in their lanes.
Wings it. A lot of zip on it. And that was Kyle Williams unable to catch that fastball.
Yeah, good job that time. Penetration. They get to Colin Kaepernick. When he moved, they had somebody to attack him from the outside. That's what you want to do to a quarterback like this. Here comes the pressure, and then somebody comes off coverage. That was Freeman, comes off the coverage and makes him get rid of the football before he's ready.
So that drive that had a lot of promise when it began at the 50, it shut down as a 3-and-out. Lee with a major hang time, but not as deep as he would have liked. Same thing as a touchback. It's fair caught at the 20. Flag back at the line of scrimmage. It was 4th and 4.
There's no foul for holding. First down, Indianapolis.
All right, it'll still be Indianapolis football with 1:33 to go here in the first quarter. Tonight, join all your favorite stars at the Emmys, and don't miss special performances by Carrie Underwood and Elton John. Neil Patrick Harris will host the Emmy Awards live tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific only, CBS. It's Bradshaw back at running back. And he gets the handle. He plows ahead for 4. So you've got this situation here today, Phil. A quarterback going against his college coach. I mean, it's happened a number of times through the years. Guys like Jimmy Johnson going against some of his old Miami quarterbacks, going all the way back to John McKay and Pat Hayden. They would duel in the NFL after winning a championship. Big championship teams at USC. 2nd and 6. Bradshaw. First down. Hard to take down to the 38. Running behind Anthony Costanzo.
Anthony Costanzo and Jones, the fullback, coming across there, and Ahmad Bradshaw waits to the last second to make that cut to get those extra yards. Jones, 46, has been an excellent lead blocker so far in these first 3 games. And Ahmad Bradshaw, what a pickup for the New York Giants.
You know, Bradshaw's got to be playing with a little chip. You know, they lose Vic Ballard out for the year with an injury.
He always does.
And then, of course, they go make the trade for Richardson. He's got to be saying, wait a minute, you didn't have faith that I could handle this alone. And he's running angry. And here he is again, shedding a tackle out to the 42. And that's exactly how Chuck Pagano described him, as a runner.
Absolutely. That's why they like him. They know they got another angry runner, and Trent Richardson.
End of one. You're watching the NFL on CBS. As we get set to start the second quarter back here at Candlestick, Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Indianapolis and San Francisco tied at 7. And the Colts, 2nd and 4 snap on the way. Each team putting together long touchdown drives in the first. And that's Bradshaw ducking down and taking about 2. Phil, we were talking about college coaches and quarterbacks being reunited in the NFL on opposite sides. Just a little sampling of some of those occasions in the past, including Bobby Ross against Boomer, Dennis Green against Stanford Steve Stenstrom, quarterback here in San Francisco for a short while, Spurrier and Grossman.
Andrew Luck has to do a lot of this. Make sure once he sees the defense, get the proper play called. It gives them the best chance.
3rd and 2. They go run. And the spot's going to be short of the first. Eric Reed coming up and making the stop with others. And Bradshaw falls to his knees. They'll come over and assist Bradshaw to the sideline as we step aside. Bradshaw still getting attention from the medical staff on the sideline as McAfee's going to punt for the 3rd time. And fair catch at the 8 by Williams with a flag out.
There's no foul for offensive holding receiving team. It was a fair catch.
They picked up the flag already about 3 times in this game. Hey, it's the monster of all Mondays with an all-new night of comedy, the premiere of How I Met Your Mother. 2 Broke Girls and Mom, starring Anna Faris and Allison Janney. That's tomorrow on America's #1 network. This is the 3rd time the Niners started a drive inside their own 15. And 4. Picks up about 3. We've got another update. Let's go back to JB in New York.
Hey, Jim, I'm sure Phil will like this play.
Yeah, Zach Miller's 2nd touchdown of the day. This little rollout here by Russell Wilson finds him 4 yards out, wide open in the corner of the end zone. 14-0 Seattle, just picking up right where he left off.
Little spin move by Russell Wilson. I'm sure Phil Simms has done that in his day as well. Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
Yes.
You're right, JB. I've done that move many times, but I saved it for the dance floor myself.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's on Anthony Davis. And seeing that highlight come out of Seattle, they're still talking in here. As you'll see movement on the right side, they're still talking around the 49ers facility about that atmosphere up there in Seattle.
Well, just how loud it is, and of course, when you go up to play a team in that stadium with that kind of talent, you got to play perfect. The 49ers had opportunities early in the game to kind of get it done and get a good feeling, but they made mistakes. You make mistakes in Seattle, it goes downhill fast.
2nd and 12, Kaepernick wanted to tuck it under and take off, and dives just past the 10 for 5 yards. Talk to Kaepernick about this offense and the different options they have. What happened here?
Well, just watch as he drops back to throw. You're going to find out right at the person he's looking for. He's looking to his right. 3, 4 receivers all covered, and now everybody, good job by the Colts, turning their attention to him, finding him and making that tackle. But that is a big concern, I think, for this San Francisco offense. They could not get open in Seattle, and really so far today, one-on-one, they are not winning battles.
We've not had a 3rd down conversion in the game on either side. 3rd and 7. almost intercepted. What a collision on Quentin Patton, the 4th-round pick from Louisiana Tech. Howell hit him. There's another former Harbaugh player from Stanford getting the start today.
Couldn't line up. They made a mistake, and finally Howell says, okay, I'll take the receiver if nobody else is going to line up there. They were very confused. Good job by Kaepernick seeing it, but a good play by Howell.
And there's Hilton waiting for Lee's punt. Pretty interesting story how Howell gets the start today. We've got LaRon Landry out with an ankle injury. Howell had been inactive the first 2 games, but they saw something in the preseason, and they went from inactive to starter today. Hilton fields it. The sideline steps back 45-yard line. A couple of times now they put pressure on the punter. 56-yard boot, 12-yard run back. Game tied at 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Rush from director Ron Howard in theaters September 27th.
As you caught a glimpse of the 49ers' new home as of next season, south of here in Santa Clara. It is some site, and it'll be, in fact, the host site for Super Bowl 50, which will be broadcast on CBS. So Richardson comes in. Here's a quick throw, and Wayne's first handle. Gets to about the 50. Each team's had the football 4 times. They each have put together a long touchdown drive and punted on the other 3 occasions.
That might be a run by Reggie Wayne. I think that was a backward pass by Andrew Luck. But why do you throw that pass? Well, you throw it because you got to get Reggie Wayne involved in this game plan and give him some confidence and some feel that he's part of it.
It counted as a pass. Wayne, who has a long streak, 66 straight games of at least 3 catches. That was his first. As Luck guns it. And there he finds Hayward Bay with a 3rd catch of the day. And on to the San Francisco side of the field at the 35.
Brown is in coverage, top of your screen, and you got to respect the speed. Oh, it's a nice move. A little corner route where they stop it. A lot of teams in the league run it, but that was awesome. Andrew Luck had a lot of time to throw it too. Costanzo, right tackle, keeps Aldon Smith out of there.
Aldon Smith, there he is. Again, arrested Friday morning for DUI. It's 7 in the morning. He crashed his car into a tree. Been a hot topic, a lot of outrage here in the Bay Area as they give it to Richardson. And this is a story we've been trying to follow all day long here. Would the 49ers play him? Could they, in fact, make him inactive? And, you know, Phil, you said after it was all said and done, talking to a lot of people around the league, there were some issues there about what they could do with him.
It's not always cut and dry what everybody thinks. I know they did it last year one time, but if they did make him inactive, there could be a grievance filed, Jim. They still would have to pay him, and I think it came down to this. The 49ers decided, let's play this game today. Let's see what the league says about it when they bring their people in, and they'll make a decision, and he will be, because everybody's worried about it, he's going to be punished. Don't worry about that. That is definitely going to happen.
2nd and 7, and Luck. He'll dive down at the 28-yard line. In fact, the 49ers turn right around and do play on Thursday against St. Louis, and you're thinking in the next couple of days there's going to be help on the way for Aldon Smith.
I think that's the way to say it. There will be help on the way. The 49ers are going to be behind this. They're not going to sit back and hope it works out. They're going to be proactive. And I've talked to, the Players Association. Of course, they worry about all the players, but the Players Association is much more aggressive with trouble situations with the players now than they've ever been in the past, and they're going to be on top of it also.
3rd and 3 from the Niners 28. Ball tipped, and a flag is out.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 45. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I believe he meant 25. Terrell Brown.
He did. Going against Reggie Wayne in the slot. Or no, he's inside at the tight end position. That was a good call that time. They definitely held pulled Reggie Wayne. How about that? Of course, Jim Harbaugh doesn't agree. Third down, you want to get off the field. But Reggie Wayne lining up as a tight end, giving him every opportunity to get open.
Richardson. A hard-fought 4 yards. Luck and Kaepernick. Here are the numbers to this point. Only 1 completion for Colin so far. 2 weeks ago in the season opener, he went over 400 yards to Kaepernick in a win over Green Bay.
Well, Green Bay, when they played the San Francisco 49ers, they committed everybody on their defense to stop the run and stop the quarterback from running, so they really took advantage of it. But again, it looks like it's going to be a problem. Can they get people open for Colin Kaepernick to throw the football to?
2nd and 6. Now inside the red zone. And Luck throws it over everyone's head. Justin Smith kind of forced that throw to be rushed a little bit. Download NFL Mobile. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game and exclusive premium content on your smartphone. Call *NFL or go to NFL.com/mobile. You also saw Carlos Rogers back there on coverage in the end zone. The Colts now a 3rd and 6. Bradshaw re-enters the game for the first time since being shaken up.
Carlos Rogers against Reggie Wayne.
A flag in the offensive backfield as the completion comes close to the first with Wayne, but maybe just a little short. And the holding call against the Colts.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
All right, illegal hands is the call. And they'll back him up.
Mike McGlynn, the center, the right guard, playing center. There, see that hand up to the face. Got to say, though, Jim, so far, a makeshift offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. Going against, a very good defensive front. They've done a good job.
Yes, they have. They've done well.
I could see Chuck Pagano leaving the room last night kind of going, well, the offensive line, we're going to make it, you got to hope it works out. When you start shifting players around, it's not only about the physical part, will they make mental mistakes.
Only the 2 tackles remain the same for the Colts. 3rd and 16. Hayward Bay. And Eric Reed again comes up. He is a good-looking rookie out of LSU.
You hate to say, or it's hard to say he's a steal as a number 1 draft pick, but he's a steal. Yeah. He can make the plays. He understands football, can cover, and a tremendous tackler. Situations like that, you have almost no chance of getting the first down against this 49er defense because they're always looking at the quarterback and looking forward. They're not chasing people down the field too often.
This is the first game that Vinatieri's ever kicked the Candlestick. And the try from 43 yards. Hooks through. And makes it now 39 different NFL stadiums. And Vinatieri has made a successful field goal, adding Candlestick to the list. Beautiful sunny day here in the San Francisco area, and Indianapolis gets a 43-yard field goal from Adam Vinatieri in his 18th year in the NFL. 8th year as a Colt. Still has the big leg, booms it through the back of the end zone. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Latest scores, highlights, and recaps. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
Yeah, Boomer's mad at me. I guess I said something he didn't like. But
you seem very concerned about that.
Oh, I am. It hurt my feelings. I don't want him to be mad at me. He's a big guy.
That kickoff, let me just stand corrected there. Pat McAfee, of course, handles the kickoff chores for the Colts, and he's the one who boomed it through the back of the end zone. Punter and kickoff specialist is Kaepernick. just can't find anyone open down the field, Phil.
No doubt about it. And that time, good job by the Colts defense recovering. But let's just look at one play in particular as you look down the field, covered. Look how close they are to the receivers, and that's why you see Colin Kaepernick pulling the football down so much. Jim, last week up in Seattle, he pulled it down a lot.
There's Dixon seeing first action. Backup running back out of Mississippi State. You also saw Marlon Moore, a wide receiver. 2nd and 7. And here's Dixon, second carry of the season. And he is going nowhere. In fact, he'll lose a yard. We've got another update from James Brown in the studio.
Jim and Phil, look at this.
Yeah, Phil, you're like this. Watch Geno Smith step up in the face of this rush. About to get hit. Boom, delivers it on the strike. Stephen Hill, 51 yards out. And the New York Jets extend that lead 14-6.
6:58 left in the half. Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
Okay, so Geno, thank you, fellas, with a touchdown throw and a touchdown run in that one. Back here, it's a 3rd and 8 for the 49ers. He's got one man in front of him. And the ball was out when Bolden was down.
Well, Jim Harbaugh said to us on Friday, arm strength, he thinks a necessity for a quarterback, and here's why. How about that, ripping it in there? Antoine Buffet, number 41, is going for the interception. Cannot get there before the football gets to Antoine Bolden.
And they hurry to the line just in case they had the Colts looking at it and throwing the challenge flag and a run with Gore for a yard. Boy, Bolden got open, and again, Howell was the last line of defense and made the stop after Bolden picked up 24.
You know, it goes back to that. It's a short throw. It's not a big deal for most quarterbacks in the league, but the fact that Colin Kaepernick just let it go, got it in there, because number 41 was lurking in the middle. They call it a rat. It's an appropriate name for a guy just sitting around the middle of the defense, and he couldn't get there in time to knock it down.
2nd and 10. Kaepernick. Incomplete. Bolden was well covered that time by Vontae Davis. Tomorrow on CBS, it's finally here, the premiere of Hostages. Be sure to watch it Monday so you can talk about it on Tuesday. Hostages, that's tomorrow, 9 Central, on America's #1 network.
Now, there's nobody open again, and you think, okay, I'm not going to keep pounding this, but what it does, it's going to embolden this defense, and they'll just keep creeping up there playing this tight man coverage, and that will just make it harder for the 49ers to run the football.
3rd and 10. Spinning around and now doing it twice. Kaepernick and had Gore open. But off balance, tough throw, and they'll bring back out Andy Lee.
How about that? Again, little blitz. Now they have him surrounded. Why did they do this? Because if you're the defensive coordinator, Greg Minuski, he goes, gosh, we got him. We can cover him. Even though somebody forgets to cover the one guy down the field, but Kaepernick not able to get it there.
Andy Lee 4 times. He's had seasons with over 40-yard net average. Only Shane Lechler has more of a 5. There's Hilton from the 10. And through a lot of traffic, runs it back 5 yards. Punt covered 43. The 43-yard field goal by Vinatieri has the Colts in front.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bose, the official home audio sponsor of the NFL. And by oneandone.com. Pre-reserved now from over 700 new domains with oneandone.com.
Gorgeous day here in San Francisco, where the America's Cup competition has been taking place over the course of nearly 3 weeks. Back here at Candlestick, the Colts lead at 10-7 with 4 minutes to go in the first half. Richardson, the running back, gets it on the toss. Blocker in front, Richardson. Picks up about 7. It's compare the quarterbacks. Again, Luck has looked in rhythm, and Kaepernick still trying to work through a very inexperienced receiving corps that is absent today of its tight end, who's a presence, Vernon Davis, as well.
That makes it even worse, but Andrew Luck has had some people open. I'll tell you, I noticed a difference in him throwing the football. Pep Hamilton, the new offensive coordinator, has kind of helped him out a little.
And Reggie Wayne with the second catch and a little bobble. Brooks tried to take it out of his hands. It's a catch and no gain. That's a kind of an uninspired play, but put it in the books as career catch number 983 for Reggie, which moves him past Randy Moss into ninth on the all-time list.
It was a run play that he had the option to throw it to Reggie Wayne. He took it. The 49ers ready for it.
Extra tight end. It's White lining up on the right side. 3rd and 3 and a timeout call by Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
2:35 to go, first half, and the visitors lead it by 3. We're back. Reggie Wayne just moved into ninth, past Moss on the all-time reception list. In fact, there are only 2 players in the league right now active who have caught at least 700 balls and earned a Super Bowl victory. Both are in this game today, Reggie and Anquan Bolden. Here's Bolden, who has a couple of catches, both of the Kaepernick completions for 38 yards today. They may be looking here on this side for Wayne on 3rd and 3. Colts have failed to convert in 4 other third down situations. Got the first down with Bradshaw at the 30. One-on-one coverage with Whitner, and it goes for 7 and a first.
Excellent job. You think they're going to throw it to the left to Reggie Wayne, but Ahmad Bradshaw comes out of the backfield. The safety, Whitner, just not tight enough. And quite honestly, you do not see that play. I haven't seen it often from the Colts, so caught him by surprise.
Bradshaw to the sideline, Richardson to the backfield. Richardson with the carry. Off the left side will bring us to the 2-minute warning after a 4-yard pickup. Colts lead at 10-7 here at Candlestick. Colts may be calling on Adam Vinatieri here shortly, wearing that number 4 that once belonged in the Colt uniform, number 4, to Captain Comeback Jim Harbaugh, who's in the Colts Ring of Honor. 2nd and 6, coming out of the 2-minute warning with Fleener. And that's Bowman wrestling him down, but not until he has the first down. Gain of 7.
You go back to that little pass completion, Ahmad Bradshaw, how it turns a half, because the 49ers make them punt. They're probably going to get good field position.
Donald Brown gets a carry and explodes up the middle for 9.
He followed Jeff Lincoln back up in there. Donald Brown had the speed, and he's got fresh legs, of course. And why do you put him in these situations? Because he knows all the pass protections in case the 49ers decide to blitz.
2nd and 1. Look at Bless to turtle over a lineman. Pass is incomplete.
Can't blame the lineman in a situation like this. This is supposed to be a quick pass. It should be out now, and it's not. So when you hold the football, that's something the coach really talked to Andrew Luck a lot about. Hey, 1, 2, either run or throw it away, because last year he took way too many hits. Your quarterback takes that many hits, sooner or later you're going to be unlucky.
They face a 3rd and 1. They have 2 timeouts. Donald Brown. Well, they got the first 9 of it, and maybe is going to be marked inches shy here.
Looks short. How about Patrick Willis? He just, look, they've seen this play about 5,000 times in their life, so he attacks the line of scrimmage.
Hurry up to the line. They're going to go for it here on 4th and inches. Looks like the Niners might be lined up over the ball. Now they move back a little bit. Luck and the Colts rolling the dice here with 41 seconds to go in the half.
Well, now it's evident you're on the defensive side. Doesn't look like they're going to run the play.
Nope.
And that's a good call. You've played really well in the first half.
Chargers timeout, Indianapolis.
Timeout,
30-second timeout.
And they ran it all the way down to 29 seconds. We're back, and McAfee will punt for the 4th time.
Jim, you get in a situation like that we just had. The 49ers, they call a timeout just in case they wanted to go for it on 4th. They just shut it out.
End over end, Kyle Williams, their catch, 8-yard line. Verizon halftime report coming up in just a few moments. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowher, they're going to update you on the other late game action, including Atlanta leading down at Miami, the Jets and Buffalo, and Jacksonville at Seattle, plus the recaps of the early games on the Verizon halftime report.
You know, as I look at this first half, Jim, you know, the Indianapolis Colts have got to be very happy with the way it's unfolded for them. They've been physical. They've protected Andrew Luck. They've made some plays. The 49ers, it just comes down to this. Not dominating the run game except for that one drive, but receivers. It doesn't matter who it is. They are not getting open for Colin Kaepernick.
And I'll tell you, McAfee was quite a weapon in that first half for the Colts, as San Francisco 4 times started a drive inside of its own 15. 49ers will be receiving the second half kickoff after deferring at the start. 10-7, Colts lead it at the intermission. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 10-7 Indianapolis, with the 49ers receiving the second half kickoff in a moment. Let's take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam, and it's the Colts touchdown as they march down the field 80 yards on the opening series and gave it to Richardson, his very first carry, as a Colt went for the score from Andrew Luck, really leading him down there with 5 out of 5 passing on that touchdown drive. So there's McAfee kicking it off. Punter, and no chance to return. Can the 49ers get something going? A spark on this offense after, again, only 2 completions in that first half.
Well, that's going to be the big question everywhere. You got a quarterback like Colin Kaepernick that can throw as well as he can throw the football, and you have a good offensive line, and you complete 2 passes. That's the story, no question, in this first half for both teams.
Niners on their touchdown drive, 91 yards on that scoring drive, but on the other 5 possessions they totaled 48. So in sync, 1 series. Hunter got their touchdown. Running here with it is Gore. For another 7. Gore now to 77 yards for the game. Hayward Bay, by the way, has caught 4 balls. There's Kaepernick rushing for 21 and throwing for 38. Not the kind of numbers you would expect.
Well, you know, when I watched him play, Jim, I say sometimes there's an open receiver, but he runs because he has that ability. But that's not been the case today. He's hung in there as long as he can.
There's a quick dart for a first down again by Frank Gore. We talked to Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator. And, you know, they knew coming into the season with the schedule they were going to have Green Bay, a rematch of a divisional game. And there you see Greg Roman, who was with Andrew Luck and Harbaugh over at Stanford. And then they knew they were going to go up with that tough test at Seattle. And they felt, all right, we can settle into things week 3 when we get back home.
Right, and that's right. Find out who they really are. Those first 2 games were like, both of them were a 2-game season. I think you come out here, you're not throwing it well, you got to get back to being a powerful football team.
Well, they're going to throw it here on first down. There's a 3rd completion of the day, and that's McDonald, who's seeing a lot of action with Vernon Davis down today.
Well, there's Colin Kaepernick. Nobody open there. The tough throw going to his left, and how about that one? He almost makes something spectacular out of it, but there's lots of, well, there's not lots of ways sometimes to get guys open, but you try formations, what they've been doing. You stack receivers. They've done the play action. So far, nothing's worked.
2nd and 4. Into the pile, bouncing off of it. And maybe no game, we'll call it. Freeman comes up for the first hit. Yeah, the 49ers, again, they're hoping to have Manningham off of PUP. Maybe after 6 weeks he'll be ready, but Crabtree, that's a big loss not to have him in there, a presence. And maybe in November he'll be able to return. Meantime, they have Bolden, the old veteran, and a lot of inexperience. 3rd and 4. Kaepernick. What a nice piece of tackling to save the first down. Buffet keeps him short, holds him to only a yard.
How many times today have we seen safeties from both teams come up and make these type of plays? And Buffet, 41, has the speed. And Kaepernick, you go, well, this is going to be a first down. He closes and takes him down. And the running quarterbacks in the league, the one thing I've noticed the first 2.5 weeks is when they get out there, these defenders are going after them and they're bringing them down.
It's a busy day for Andy Lee. He punched for the 5th time. And that one's not his best. Goes out of bounds outside the 20. Andrew Luck and the Colts with their first series of the second half coming up. In honor of the NFL's Hispanic Outreach Initiative, the 49ers partnered with Hall of Fame offensive tackle Anthony Munoz to host an NFL Play 60 character camp this past summer. 2-day football camp hosted approximately 300 predominantly Hispanic boys and girls. And the mission is to make a positive impact on youth through teaching football skills, exercise, and reinforcing the importance of character in athletics. Avili is smashed by Patrick Willis.
Patrick Willis diagnoses the play, and he is playing outstanding football so far here. Wow. Big and fast.
How about, what's the difference between that one and the one that Whitner was called for leading with the helmet?
They saw it, I guess.
First play of the game.
They saw it cleanly that time. Good job by Patrick Willis getting that right shoulder in there and making contact with the shoulder first. Richardson, the bottom of the screen, 2nd and 10.
And look, able to turn the corner and pick up the first down. He made a little move right past Terrell Brown. He's a little faster than you think.
Well, that's what John Harbaugh said. First off, when he had him at Stanford, he's stronger than you think, and he's definitely faster than you think, and also can throw the football harder than you can imagine. But they love this. Spread the field. The one thing I don't think he does enough, Jim, he doesn't run with the football when the offense has it spread out. And he's big, hard to bring down, and even stiff arms. How about that? But I think you noticed it when he comes to our meetings. That's the first thing I saw him last year, and I saw him in person. I went, wow, he's a big dude. And he plays like one, too. Can stand strong in that pocket whenever he wants.
Got a first down at the 40. And Richardson. Give him 4. Richardson now 7 carries for 23 yards. Again, the NFL and all 32 teams are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Visit NFL.com/Hispanic Heritage to hear the personal stories of Hispanic players in the NFL.
You know, you go back to Andrew Luck, the time he ran the football, they wanted to do it more wide. One, because he's going to make some yards, but really more importantly, it limits the hits on him. And Pep Hamilton, I think one of his first, the new offensive coordinator, said to him, hey, we want an offense where we can protect our quarterback a little more than we did last year.
2nd and 6 is Donald Brown. He's got the first down. And finally brought down by Reed, running behind Costanzo.
Yeah, Costanzo, the left tackle, is playing. You can tell a difference. Left tackle growing into the body, getting big and who he should be, strong, and he's played well the first 2 games. And that was an excellent block on Smith on the outside.
That's the longest rush of the game for the Colts, surpassing Luck's scramble at 15 just before that. And they've totaled 100 on the ground for the game. And Richardson into a pile. And again, with this being Hispanic Heritage Month, let's listen in to our SAP announcer, Armando Quintero, from an earlier call.
En la yarda 13, los 49ers. Kaepernick para atrás en jugada de atracción. Entrega sobre el lado derecho hasta la esquina. Touchdown. Kendall Hunter. San Francisco.
Hunter's touchdown run in the first quarter. Back here with 2nd and 7. Colts trying to put a little drive together with their first possession of the second half after opening the game with a touchdown drive.
Charge timeout.
Timeout 49ers. Well, they want that one back later. Who knows?
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Domino's. Order from Domino's.com today and don't forget to track your order. And by Chrysler. Imported from Detroit.
Coming out of a surprising timeout call by the 49er defense.
Always a big call in the second half. You use a timeout just for alignment on the defensive side. Close game, you need those timeouts for the end.
And they had 11 on the field. 2nd and 7. As Wayne rifles it to him at the 25. Ball came out at the end.
Took some extra time that time by Andrew Luck. He hangs in there.
An eligible receiver, 76 eligible.
The protection was excellent that time.
Knee is down.
On the outside, Costanzo against Aldon Smith. You talked about his troubles, Jim. He is the guy in obvious passing situation. That's what he's paid to do, to put pressure on the quarterback. He's been excellent the first 2 weeks. Been a rough day so far for him.
67 straight games. Wayne with at least 3 catches. Best in the league as Richardson is unable to add to his rushing total into the arms of Smith and others. Richardson's been trying to crash study here, getting ready for this game. In fact, he flew out yesterday with the team sitting with Luck on the flight. Again, going over and over the playbook.
Yep. That time didn't quite have the right feel. If he'd have stayed with his fullback, cut it inside, he would have picked up 4 or 5.
This drive approaching 5 minutes. 2nd down and 10. Ball incomplete as Reed comes up on Richardson.
Maybe the reason why the 49ers called that timeout before on a situation where they were spread out is just this. They want to play a defense where they can take care of Andrew Luck. If they cover the guys down the field, they don't want him to run. So when you play a defense where you're watching the quarterback, if he runs, they can react and tackle him before he gets any yards.
Big 3rd and 10 right here. Coming in on Luck. And they deck him as he just throws it incomplete. Again, it's Justin Smith.
Well, they
barreling through.
Sorry, Jim. They had the right call on that time. It's a blitz. They got a screen coming out. But you got sometimes offensive linemen. How about that play? When you're going to run a screen, you got to at least slow the defensive lineman down. Justin Smith not slowed down. No chance for that play to work.
So Vinatieri at the same end of the field, which he connected from 43 out in the second quarter. This is 41 yards in the third. And Vinatieri right down the middle. 13-7 Colts, third quarter. Okay, back here with 6:46 to go in the third off of an Indianapolis 52-yard drive, ending in a field goal. A little more than 5 minutes they had it. And they'll bring Kaepernick out to the 20. Jim Harbaugh has never lost in his tenure here. Consecutive regular season games. He's 7-0 after a loss.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by iShares. Visit iShares.com to learn more. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
And a look at Alcatraz Island, The Rock, which last operated as a prison 50 years ago. 1963, it ceased operations as a prison. Now back here with the 49ers. They can unlock their offense a little bit. 1st and 10 as Kaepernick look for Gore. And I mentioned that Harbaugh has never backed up a loss with another loss. He's also opened every year with a win. So if you put the riddle together, Harbaugh has never been under 500 in his head coaching career, which if they lost today, it would be the first time ever they'd be at 1-2. Of course, Chuck Pagano right there, 5-0. All of the games that last year, as he was getting well, his battle against leukemia, they count as his record. Bruce Arians, his great friend, doing such a great job filling in. As Bolden has another catch, but he's tackled a couple yards short of the first. That's good for 8.
Well, it took tight end shifting, a lot of motion, play action, everything to get a short pass to Anquan Bolden. Think about this offense. You ready? It was unstoppable because the zone read, the option, the quarterback run, you don't have enough guys. Where is it? What happened? Well, the league adapted to it. It's not there. So that's not there. The play actions are not there. What do you go to?
3rd and 2. They go to Miller for the first down as Freeman wrestles him down. That's a very good point, Phil, because you know, a lot of fans out there maybe don't get the X's and O's. We're saying, wait a minute, I saw this guy rush for 181 yards in the playoffs last year against Green Bay. Where is that now?
Well, it's I'm not going to say it's gone forever, but this NFL, I say it all the time, it can adapt to anything so fast. The option player, the zone read by the quarterback, they figured out how to defend it with the defensive linemen and linebackers. And the hurry-up offense, it's unstoppable if you go fast. Well, how about that? How's that working?
Got to hook the man. It's Brewer to the 48. Near another first. We've got an update on Atlanta at Miami. Back to JB and the coach.
Tannehill getting it done, coach.
Yeah, the 2-0 Miami Dolphins. They're coming from behind. Ryan Tannehill finds Brian Hartline 18 yards out. They tied up right now into the 4th quarter, 20-20.
Just starting the 4th. Back to Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
All right, guys. Of course, Mike Wallace had a good game last week and a touchdown against Indianapolis, but Hartline has really been quite a story down there the first 3 weeks for Miami. With all the talk going to Wallace.
He was a good story last year, just nobody paid attention.
1st and 10. Here's what you're talking about. That was so effective last year, and now the defense is adjusting. Indianapolis not fooled, and they lose 5. That's exactly what you have been setting up.
Well, it's a couple of things. I don't know if you should give it out. Just watch the people that react to it from the outside as you try it. Now, the defensive line, oh, they crash it. See, they crash the outside, then the inside guys go out. We're seeing that a lot, or I am, and that's one of the reasons why it's not working. It muddies the read for the quarterback. I watch a lot of college football on Saturday. They can't run it anymore. So if they can't, it's going to be hard for the pros.
2nd and 15, Hunter, who scored their only touchdown. Only able to get a couple out of that. Next Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS rolls out Cats and Dogs. We're talking LSU and Georgia. Next Saturday, the hoopla begins with college football today. As Vern Gary and Tracy get set to bring you all the excitement of the SEC on CBS.
And you know, too, Jim, why it's not, I think it was not going to be an everlasting thing. How many times do you want to risk your quarterback running down the field and getting hit? As I said earlier, defenses are hitting these quarterbacks once they get down the field this year.
3rd and 13, and they give up the pass to Bolden underneath, but stop him well short of the first. That's the first time the Niners have been in Indianapolis territory since the 1st quarter, but they'll still have to punt.
Very good tackling day by this Indianapolis Colts defense so far. When they get the opportunity, they are bringing these guys down.
T.Y. Hilton back to return. He's had a quiet day in the receiving department. 1 catch for 8 yards. Coming in a little banged up after last week, suffering a groin injury. Lee. Hilton will field it. 2 Niners right there. He holds on. But they pin Indianapolis inside the 10. 37-yard punt. Got the job done.
Looking right far. It's a madhouse at Candlestick. Young almost falls down. Throws to the end zone.
Alex takes the snap. Alex looking. Got him. Post. And it's got him. Touchdown 49.
Farewell season to Candlestick and some of the signature moments. Mostly, of course, the catch back in 1982, called by Vin Scully. Maybe on CBS. On the draw, it's Richardson. And that's Bowman there to stand him up after 3. Luck's been hit a few times, Bill.
Well, he's done a good job moving their plays around, trying to keep the 49ers defense off balance. Hard to do, though. Makeshift offensive line. He's taken some hits today, but nothing that I would call like just those crushers where you just get smashed, where you can't protect yourself. When they do throw it a lot, they're doing this. Spread it out. It makes it easy for Andrew Luck to see it and also see where the pressure's coming from.
2nd and 7.
Looks like a draw.
Just ran a draw, and they do it again. Bradshaw this time. Look at Luck wanting to get into the blocking, but never made contact. Aldon Smith, Eric Reed, 2-yard loss.
Good decisions and don't make contact. Quarterbacks shouldn't try these blocks, but it doesn't catch them by surprise this time. Really good job by Aldon Smith getting up the field and ruining that like Statue of Liberty draw where it takes a while. You hope the defense thinks it's going to be pass. Good play by Smith.
3rd and 9. This game has been really a battle of the punters and field position. But the Niners can make a stop here. They should have an excellent starting point, which has been a rarity for them. But instead, it's Wayne with the first down and still on his feet. Reggie Wayne all the way out to the 35. He broke away from Dante Whitner, goes for 25.
Just a simple play. Everybody runs in the NFL. Goes inside. Nobody's covering him. They kind of made him a missed assignment there. There should be somebody always in the middle of the field. It should be spread evenly. It was not. That's why Reggie Wayne was wide open.
And that 25-yard play was the biggest gainer of the day for either side. You would have thought maybe there would be a lot of explosive plays. That's the biggest one so far. They've got, by the way, Patrick Willis injured on the play.
Good protection, too. They switched it up. Aldon Smith came inside, says, well, I'm not getting a lot of success over here against this Costanzo guy, so he goes inside, and Lincolnbach, the guard, did an excellent job of blocking him, giving Andrew Luck that extra second. Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Justin Smith, Jim, go down the line. The one thing about the 49ers defense that I'm amazed at, even at the Super Bowl last year, how many plays they are in the game. Navarro Bowman was in 78 plays last week up in Seattle, and he takes every snap in every day at practice. So these guys are used to playing a lot of plays. The timeout by the 49ers.
The 49ers now have had 2 timeouts called in this second half by the defense. Get inside the mind of a quarterback. I try to do that every weekend when I'm out here with Phil. Then I get to go back home and watch him on CBS Sports Network, chatting with the likes of Rich Gannon and Steve Berline and Adam Shine, NFL Monday QB. That's tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern. Again, CBS Sports Network, our 24-hour home, CBS Sports. You know, you got asked in the NFL today about which quarterback, if you had to go back and pick one, which one would you take? You know, long term, you said Kaepernick.
I said Kaepernick because I think when given time, he is just a knockdown thrower of the football. But we have not seen that today. And how about that Andrew Luck? having a better day running the football over Kaepernick.
The Rams actually outrushed him by a couple. And that's Bradshaw for just 2 as we move into the last minute of the third quarter. And again, the Niners are down to 1 timeout.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would call the defensive timeout first down. You have to have a safe call. In other words, you yell it out. Cover 2, whatever the safest defense you have to go out there and to save that timeout. So we'll find out if it comes back to hurt them. But you always say it, Jim. The rule is in the second half, protect them like they're gold.
Michael Will Hoyt is the linebacker taking the place of Patrick Willis. Him sliding down to the bottom of your screen, number 57. Second down and 8. Pocket sealed. Left pass perfect. It's Wayne again, creating some open space and stepping out on the Niners side of the field at the 45.
Boy, he is creasing the football today, Andrew Luck. When he gets time, it is online, and you can't see any wiggle in that football. How about that? He threw it. Reggie Wayne saw Eric Reed on the other side, got underneath him, and got those extra yards.
Going to be the end of the third quarter now with the score: Indianapolis 13, San Francisco 7. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Colts have played very smartly to this point. They have not turned the football over once. Luck has been sacked only 1 time, and they've been penalized only once as we start the fourth quarter. They're driving at the San Francisco 45. Bradshaw for 8.
That was excellent running by Ahmad Bradshaw. I don't know how they do it. You get the football, but watch 44 to the right of your screen is going to wait. Boy, look at the guard. And Jones again gets a good block, and he cuts in there behind it.
Bradshaw had played here in the last 2 seasons as a member of the Giants and was big in both games. NFC Championship game in 2011. And last year's regular season, he was over 100 here as a member of the Giants with a touchdown. Learns another handle. That's enough for the first down. Plows ahead for 3. Andrew Luck goes down to Stanford, about, 25-30 minute drive at the most.
Right.
Down in Palo Alto. You would have thought somewhere along the line he might have come to a Niners game, on a Sunday. Never been here for a football game until today. Not football except for a soccer game. He was here for a doubleheader with his San Jose Earthquakes. He actually was an intern for them in their marketing department. Came here and watched them play, and the second game was FC Barcelona. That's it. His debut at the stick. Been a good one so far. Bradshaw for a couple.
Well, Andrew Luck, a humble man, no doubt about it, being a star quarterback in college, and he's a star in the NFL. And we've heard it from Jim Harbaugh, said the uniqueness of him. He doesn't want the spotlight, doesn't like to get the attention, wants us to be one of the guys, and he's done a terrific job in his short career doing just that. We hear it from all of his teammates, we hear it from his coaches.
This offensive line again had to be reworked with a bunch of injuries at the last moment today. Done a fine job. 9th play of the drive. 2nd and 8. Drop pass, and incomplete. Richardson may have saved the pick as Navarro Bowman was in on the coverage and looked like he possibly could do something off the deflection.
Yeah, good job. The one thing I noticed right away, look at the 49ers pass rush. Everybody kind of stays in their lane, so there was nowhere for Andrew Luck to run. And the good coverage outside, you said it right. Richardson does a good job of knocking away, so there's not an interception.
Remember, this drive at one time was back at the 9, and the Colts faced 3rd and 9 from back there. They got the big conversion of 25 to Wayne. They got a 3rd and 8. Groin injury is the word on Willis. Questionable to return as Luck looks and throws it over the head of Wayne. Had to, because Brooks was closing in on him.
Yeah, it just took too long, Jim. The protection was very good. But as he was waiting for Reggie Wayne, Carlos Rogers had him down the field. Boy, and Andrew Luck takes another big hit. In the slot, 87. A lot of hand action down there, but no separation.
Big field goal try here because it could make the game a 2-score difference. 51 yards from Adam Vinatieri. Matt Overton is the snapper, McAfee the holder. And Vinatieri from 51, hooking. Too much. Wide left. And of course that means the Niners will get rare good starting field position at the 41. How close was it? About a yard. Coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife.
Well, you go back to that field goal, Jim. I believe they did the right thing. You have 12 minutes and 41 seconds to go. Even though you give up good field position because you missed it, it was worth the risk.
Oh, that was in the hands of Garrett Selleck. That was a rope, frozen rope. Look at the first 8 possessions. The one 91-yard touchdown drive. And the rest of them have been mainly, short series.
Well, that last play, Colin Kaepernick really was just going to try to overpower the defense with that throw. He had Selleck. The throw was just too far inside, a little off target.
Kaepernick 7 out of 15 for 82 yards. And Hunter, the running back, split out wide left. They look at him, get it to him, and Hunter weaving and knocked down after a gain of 4. That's Howell again making the play.
Well, they changed the play at the line of scrimmage. You'd say, okay, there's 6 guys coming. They only got 5 to block it. Colin Kaepernick changes the play, and they all jump out. That's why the quick screen outside is not going to work. And this Colts defense playing very fast today. You can tell. Anytime you see a team that's tackling really well, that's most of the time that means they got a lot of speed and they're getting it done.
3rd and 6. Marlon Moore is the extra receiver in for the Niners. Kaepernick goes down as the Colts, Corey Redding and Robert Mathis crash in on him. A loss of 7.
You said it right. They bluffed the blitz again, and that time Corey Redding, number 90, coming around, does a good job, just keeps fighting through it. And then Robert Mathis, 240 pounds of a guy that's in shape and can run. Look how fast. We talked to Robert Mathis last night. He's taking care of himself like he's never done before, like he needed to get a little faster.
Yeah, he said it's the first time in his career, all off season, he stayed with the diet. Stayed away from the bad stuff, no fried food. So he looked in great shape. Got yet another half sack here today after that one. 62-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon Edge. Get that new phone feeling again and again. Pizza Hut. Make it great. And by the U.S. Postal Service. Schedule your free package pickup today.
11 minutes to go. San Francisco unable to take advantage of the good field position. On that last drive, they're working on Bradshaw's neck. Needs Richardson. There's the running back out of the eye. And the ball carrier right here. No gain. Well, he told us last night, Bill, that I've never been this tired going into a football game, but no pity, please, because I'm still going hard. What have you seen?
Well, I've seen a running back that maybe is a little timid, and rightly so, Jim, because he's filling out. He doesn't know how the guard and tackle's going to pull. He's trying to learn the fullback, how they block, and of course, reading and doing the right thing for the plays. Tough assignment for him today.
Built with his second catch, and it's good for 5. This week, don't miss the show that's in a league by itself with guys who take on all 32 teams and each other every week. JB and Phil and Chris Collinsworth with the artistry of NFL films and the team chemistry on the set of Inside the NFL, Wednesdays at 9 only showtime.
Well, let me say this, though, just to go back to Trent Richardson, I do think it's a good match, and once he gets the hang of this offense, and they really get this offensive line in shape and going, they're going to run the football well.
3rd and 5. Empty backfield and a first down catch. They tackle behind the 30, but the forward progress for Hayward Bay will be good enough for 7 and a first. I thought that, as you see Luck, I thought Richardson, there's the first down catch. Richardson's exit from Cleveland, he called it shocking, among other things. He was overwhelmed. He said he'll play the rest of his career with a chip on my shoulder. But some of the comments he had for the Cleveland fan base there about don't give up on this team. That was one of the classiest exits I've ever seen by a player just traded.
Well, he's excited to play with Andrew Luck. He goes, look, they're not going to crowd the line of scrimmage every time with him back there.
Here's Bradshaw. Pretty rugged 1-2 combination with those two backs.
That's right. You know, you say, oh, you talked about it, Jim. Ahmad Bradshaw, will he be upset because they brought in Trent Richardson? Bradshaw's been in the league long enough. He gets it. And every team, except maybe the Minnesota Vikings, running backs are going to share reps. And if Bradshaw gets in there and gets hot, hey, look, we're not going to take him out to put Trent Richardson in. So there's plenty of work for both of these running backs to survive together.
And they pretty evenly split the carries today.
Let's go, let's go.
11 and 12. 11 for Richardson. And Bradshaw here, 2nd and 9 in the backfield. That's in and out of the hands, but a flag comes flying in. That was Hayward Bay trying to make the catch. And Brown was the defender. Maybe a little too snug.
Pass interference. Defense number 25. Automatic first down.
Tight windows, even though it's a nice play action fake. They've run the football a lot today. Outside Brown. Yes, and why that is called, he put his arms around Hayward Bay and turns him.
That's 4 penalties on the Niners defense, and all the flags have come on pass plays.
Well, it's so hard for defensive backs. I really do feel for them. It's what a tough job. You got to backpedal against some of the world's fastest guys, and you can't touch them.
Barks out the signals and gives it to Richardson, who is able to stay on his feet long enough to pick up 5.
Beautiful run that time. Wait on it, cuts it back, and I give this Gosder Sherilis, number 78, the right tackle. What a wonderful signing it was for the Colts this offseason. Linking back the right guard. Look, if they win this game, go in there and with the teams around you, if it's over, and give a game ball to the offensive line for coming through, even though they're beat up.
Well, you saw Sherilis, free agent signee by way of the Lions, where it started his first 5 years. After being the number 1 first round pick. And that's Richardson for a yard.
Good pacing today by the Colts offense, really mixing in the plays, being very patient with the run game. Not just falling into the trap. Oh, it's 2nd and long, let's throw it. Keep the defense honest.
Third and 4. And they'll be punting the football to the Niners. Oh, hold on, a flag.
I think they threw it on Carlos Rogers right in front of the 49er bench.
Holding. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Alford prior to the pass. Automatic first down.
Number 87, Reggie Wayne coming across. That's Carlos Rogers, been covering him on 3rd down situations. I don't think that was the player I was pointing out.
That was on either Will Hoyt or Scuda. And Harbaugh is livid as the Colts get a new set of downs with 7 minutes remaining.
Let it roll, let it roll, let it
And
roll.
again, the Niners are down to one timeout. Bradshaw squirts through for another 7.
Good job by Ahmad Bradshaw going up in there. They're actually tight. This defense plays a lot of plays. They do get tired. Everybody gets tired when you stay out in the field too long. Watch Eric Reed 35 come up. Nice cut by Bradshaw and gets around him and picks up those yards, which are so big. Taking your time. Bring that play clock down, and knowing you pick up one more first down or two, you got a chance to put the 49ers in a tough spot.
Second and 3, the give to Bradshaw, who wiggles outside, and he's got open daylight inside the 20 and twisted down after a long burst. Asamoah finally makes the tackle in the secondary, but a gain of 27.
You know, it's been a good day for the blocking fullbacks for the Colts. Watch Jones. Comes up in there, breaks it outside, makes contact, and Ahmad Bradshaw reads it perfectly. Just think, last year, there were no fullbacks on this football team.
Asamoah was hurt while making this tackle. How about Hilton throwing a block way down the field? Eventually, Asamoah was able to shed it, but Asamoah right here, Bradshaw lands on his left foot.
You know, it's not a cliche when they say wearing the defense down. If you keep running the football at them, and that's what's really happened today for the Colts. How about that, putting both arms around it? He must have watched my demonstration from last
week.
Yeah.
Where you're showing everybody how David Wilson needed to carry the football for the Giants.
As I tell the fans out there, it's a lot harder than you think to put two arms around that football when you're running with it. But a good job by Bradshaw, understanding the situation that as long as you get some points out of this drive, you're putting the 49ers in a position to score twice with one timeout and not much time left.
It's the longest rush of this young season for the Colts. Bradshaw up to 80 now on the ground today. And look again at the numbers for that San Francisco offense. Total of 190 yards of offense. I really thought so did everybody else. It'd be a big bounce back performance by the Niners today, and specifically the offensive side of things.
Yeah, I thought so too, but the will's there. But the fact is, Jim, it's just not working. Let's look at this. So the Colts, 159 yards rushing against the 49ers. That is a great game for this offense.
And first down from the 13. Wow, what a response by Bradshaw today.
This is like watching the Stanford Cardinals run the football. Check out 39. Haverly, oh boy, he gets a hit inside, and Dante Whitner cannot find the running back. And you're right, Bradshaw got the feel. Running backs are like shooters in basketball, golfers, whatever. Give enough reps, they get a feel for it, and they start making great decisions, and they maximize their physical talents.
Well, he might run angry, as you say, and Pagano says, but that time he even had a gallop move. He's got a 2nd and 2 for the Colts at the 5. This time, right away, Brooks is able to fall on him. Well, inside of 5 minutes to go, and of course anything on the board right here makes it a 2-score game, and the 49ers, little time and one timeout is all they have in their pocket.
Good thing now about this quarterback where Pep Hamilton's telling Andrew Luck, remember a field goal in his helmet. A field goal is as good as a touchdown. Be careful with the football. Should be a safe play call.
3rd and 3. Luck still has it, and no one saw it. The bootleg for the touchdown.
That was some call. Got him crashing down down, knowing the situation. Let's see what they do. Does anybody watch him? No. And Andrew Luck, everybody talks about it, sneaky runner. He's not a sneaky runner. He's a good runner. It is. The 49ers, nobody even realizes he had the football after he's in the end zone.
Vinatieri tacks on one more. Who would have thought that Andrew Luck today would outrush Colin Kaepernick? 20-7, Indianapolis. Well, the main thing here, Phil, 7 minutes. Well, the main thing being the touchdown.
Well, no,
but 7 minutes and 54 coming on the ground. Finally picked up by Hunter. Oh, and the 49ers again. Backed up at the 11 with only 4 minutes remaining.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Microsoft Surface. Click in and do more.
Back for 4 minutes and 9 seconds of action. Niners haven't scored since the first quarter. And that was headed over to Anquan Boldin, but Butler broke it up. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS goes regional. But most of the country is going to see the game from Wembley Stadium, where the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Minnesota Vikings. We'll be there, Phil, heading over to the UK tomorrow. Getting all set for the action with the NFL Today. Leading off the lineup next Sunday on CBS. And that's ruled incomplete. Headed to Marlon Moore.
Just look at these throws. Every throw, there is a defender. He's got to throw it perfectly to keep it from being intercepted. And Darius Butler, number 20, has been special against Anquan Boldin. Darius Butler, number 20, has help. It's covered on the outside. There's nowhere to throw it. You got to throw it perfectly, like I said, to keep it from being intercepted.
3rd and 10. Kaepernick's going to be sacked, and the ball's out, recovered by Indianapolis. It was Freeman who jarred it out. And the Colts recovery belongs to Cavell Connor.
Freeman so active, Jimmy, plays every play of the game on the defensive side. This looks just like last week. Colin Kaepernick, I got to retract here. He did tuck the football away, but when these big guys hit you, especially when you're a quarterback, that football's coming out. Well, that is an excellent job by Freeman.
That is the first turnover from either side today, and Luck jumping for joy as his offensive unit will come back onto the field, set up at the 8-yard line. 3:51 to go, and in no hurry at all.
Well, playing against his college coach, I'm sure he has a lot of college friends here today. You're always happy to win, but there's no doubt this will be special.
Was free, I'm sure, in the stands here as well. He's got his sisters, Mary Ellen and Emily, who both attend Stanford right now.
Right.
Well, his family so often travels to all the games. He came out here, in fact, and trained during the summer back at Stanford.
5 or 6 weeks. Beginning of the off season. Pretty good place to come and train, I would say that. A lot of his friends, so many guys he knows from Stanford and friends in the NFL, they come out and train with him. But the Colts, being so physical, they out-hit the 49ers today. That's why they're winning this game.
2nd and goal. And Bradshaw leaves his feet and flies to the 1. Well, he's had a nice burst here in the second half. He's not wearing down. He seems to be getting quicker.
You know what he did there? That was his statement to say, look, I'm going to be part of this running offense. We might have gotten the 3rd pick of the draft, but there's a spot for him, and there's no doubt after we watched him here again today.
I don't think there's any question, Phil. Great point. He is a highly motivated running back here today. He's got 94 yards rushing, 61 of them coming after halftime. And a last time out is used by San Francisco as a 3rd and goal is coming up.
We used to talk to, or we have talked to Bradshaw when he was with the Giants, Jim, and we could tell then that'll never change. A guy that had the talent to be a high draft pick, but he went to Marshall, got in a little trouble. His size, everything drops him down to a late round draft pick, and that never goes away from a player's sight or whatever. You always play like he does, all out, always trying to prove everybody that they were wrong.
We're just doing the math on it. Not that the Niners offense has shown any spark at all or any signs of doing something, but if they can hold them to a field goal here, it's still a 2-possession game with long odds. But Bradshaw will put it into that argument with a touchdown.
Well, it's a beautiful read.
And that's one he deserved. Get that handle.
Supposed to go inside. He hesitated, read the defense, saw the blocks, and took it outside. Boy, really well done.
3rd rushing touchdown by the Colts today by a 3rd different player.
Wright, number 76, came in to play tight end, a backup lineman, and he had a good day too, blocking in those unique formations.
First it was Richardson in the opening quarter, and then Luck and Bradshaw here in the 4th, finding the end zone. Well, a few unexpected results out there today. I don't know which one tops the list, but maybe it was Cleveland's win at Minnesota, as Jordan Cameron caught 3 touchdowns, including the winner with about a minute to go from Brian Hoyer on a 3rd and goal play. And the Bengals come from behind and defeat the Packers. Big win for the Cincinnati side. Baltimore blows out Houston 30-9. You know, all those times that we were up in New England and watching Hoyer back up Tom Brady, you always thought there was tremendous potential there. And I know the folks down in Cleveland, the new regime there, thought highly of him as well. This was his first NFL start. 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and a game winner.
Yeah, when he played in New England, he always played solid football in the preseason and everything. I've watched him practice so many times. I thought he was given the chance, he would be a respectable, NFL quarterback. He knows how to do it. He's much better physically than people get him credit for. And quite honestly, I'm happy that he got a chance to play and did well.
Yeah, his first start in Cleveland, that is, as Rod Chudzinski. Congratulations, his first win as a head coach. With a bobble by Patton. And again, it seems like the same starting point most of the day for the 49ers, somewhere around the 10, 11-yard line. 6 of 11 drives, in fact, beginning inside the 15. Short week for the 49ers. They'll be traveling to St. Louis, the Thursday night game. And they'll be making their own trip over to London in about a month to take on Jacksonville.
I say it's a good thing they have a short week, Jim. Now they can just get right back, put this game behind them, get right back to action, and try to correct some of the things they've done wrong.
There's a hookup to Bolden.
We're talking about wide receivers getting open for the San Francisco 49ers. To me, it kind of comes down to this. They got to line up and start running the football consistently with Frank Gore or whoever they want to hand the football to help that passing game.
Cuts down at the 27, picks up 3. Gore's got for the game 82 yards, but he had more than 60 in the first quarter. That one impressive drive down the field, fueled by Gore's running, but they were never in that kind of rhythm again. 67 yards, in fact, he had in the first quarter. 7, and he was looking for McDonald as we reached the 2-minute warning. 2 touchdowns in 78 seconds here in the 4th quarter by the Colts to put this game away. Watching the first week game against the Packers, you thought, boy, this 49ers offense, they're going to be something to watch all season long, and they've gone flat now 2 straight weeks.
Yeah, they definitely have. Not having Vernon Davis here today, let's don't discount that. And you look at this game, you compare the quarterbacks, taking nothing away from Andrew Luck. But let's be honest, his skill people around him right now are better than what the 49ers have around Colin Kaepernick.
3rd and 7. And they've got Gore for a first down at the 37. Here's the lineup tonight on CBS. Live, the Emmy Awards. Neil Patrick Harris as your host. Carrie Underwood, Elton John with special live performances. It's all coming up tonight on CBS. That catch by Gore moves him into 2nd all-time as far as catches by a running back in 49er history behind Roger Craig. And 1st and 10 to Kyle Williams. Again, the Niners are out of timeouts. And not until this drive did Kaepernick go over 100 yards for the game in passing. That was intended for an open Kyle Williams.
Yeah, it was really just not a good throw by Colin Kaepernick. Just antsy, off balance, you know, getting wide open to throw the football. In other words, his left shoulder's open. I very seldom do I see him throw a football that's not a perfect spiral, and that one got away from him.
Well, the Colts are about to join Houston and Tennessee at 2-1 atop the AFC South. Jacksonville, of course, the 4th member of that division at 0-3. Bolden, he is hit by Howell. I tell you, Howell's not to be underrated either, or undervalued, stepping in today for an inactive LaRon Landry.
Yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit. You've said his name quite a bit. He's got coverage that time on Anquan Bolden, sees him, and another good tackle.
There's another Stanford guy who played for Coach Harbaugh down the way in Palo Alto and was undrafted coming out last year.
How many times have we seen that form tackling, head to the side, arms out, wrap around him, and take him to the ground?
4th and 4. They'll keep the football going. Kyle Williams will move the chains. So the Colts' first road game is going to end with a victory. They'll be at Jacksonville next week and then back home to face Seattle, which is well on its way to victory. Colts still have been penalized only 1 time in this game and allowed only 1 sack and no turnovers.
Pretty good formula.
That will usually add up to a win. There's a dart to 7. He's tossed down at the 20. Pickup of 30. That's the Niners' longest play of the game. It's into the arms of Indianapolis. Cassius Vaughn off the deflection.
I heard the deflection. I couldn't see it. So I don't know if somebody stuck their hand up, that thing's going to be stinging for a while. But nice job by Cassius Vaughn. Sometimes when a football's up in the air like that, 2 guys fight over it, and nobody comes up with it. Oh, Corey Redding, what a day he has had.
Yeah, he's been in the backfield a lot, hasn't he? And that play there.
Yeah, big run stops, pressure on the quarterback, and now calls it an interception. Oh, hit him in the helmet.
Well, if you think your hands are stinging,
he might have to go for that test because that thing hit square and hard.
That is going to do it here. Big win for Chuck Pagano and the Colts.
It really is. Everything they wanted, a little down personnel-wise, and they came in here, and like he said, we got to match them with power against power. They did it, and that's why they win. We won the game.
They shut out San Francisco after the intermission, 17-0. Andrew Luck comes back to the Bay Area and gets the victory.
So many things impressed me about the Colts today, but their defense, I know the 49ers, we talked about many things, but their defense tackled awesome. They were disciplined.
Now there you saw Luck and Harbaugh. This is old quarterback from Stanford. Sets him under 500 for the first time in his coaching tenure at San Francisco. Niners drop to 1-2. Indianapolis walks off the field at 2-1. Big day by Bradshaw. 95 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So the final score is Indianapolis 27 and San Francisco 7. Coming up tonight on CBS, the Emmy Awards live. For Bill Sims, this is Jim Nantz saying so long from Candlestick. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll join James Brown in New York after this.